Hello, everyone. I am Elena, your host for today's lesson, and it is so wonderful to have you here with me. Whether this is your very first time joining us or whether you have been learning with us for a while, I want you to know that I am genuinely glad you chose to spend this time here. Learning a language is one of the most generous things you can do for yourself. It is an act of curiosity and courage. And the fact that you are here, right now, choosing to grow, says something important about who you are. So before we even begin, take a moment and appreciate yourself for that. It matters more than you know. If you are new to the channel, welcome. At English in Moments, we create a new English lesson every single day, designed to help learners at every level grow faster, with more confidence, more comfort, and more real practical skill. We have lessons for beginners, for intermediate learners, and for upper intermediate and advanced learners like the ones joining us today. Whatever your level is right now, you are in exactly the right place. This lesson was made for you. Now, today's lesson is something a little different from our usual sessions, and I am very excited about it because I want to ask you something first. Have you ever been scrolling through your phone, reading posts and watching videos in English, and felt like you understood the general idea, but not quite the specific language? Like you could follow the story, but the exact vocabulary, the digital words that native speakers use naturally and constantly, felt just slightly out of reach. Or have you ever tried to describe something that happened online and found yourself reaching for your own language because the English words were not quite there? If that sounds familiar, today's lesson is exactly what you have been waiting for. Because today, we are going to explore a world that every single one of you already lives in. A world that most English learners encounter every single day, in their native language and in English. And yet a world whose vocabulary is almost never properly taught in a classroom. Today, we are going to explore the English of social media and technology. Think about it for a moment. How much of your daily life involves a screen? How many times do you scroll, tap, swipe, post, or reply before you have even had your morning coffee? How often do you watch a stream, mute a notification, check an update, or send a message? The digital world is not separate from daily life anymore. It is daily life. And the language that lives inside it, the vocabulary of apps and platforms and comments and connections, is some of the most alive, most current, and most widely used English on the planet right now. But here is something interesting. Much of this vocabulary is not new at all. The word scroll, for example, existed hundreds of years before smartphones. Streams and feeds and threads all come from older English. And understanding where these digital words come from and how they work in context will help you use them naturally and confidently in every conversation, every comment, every caption, and every moment where you need your English to work in the real world. By the end of today's session, you will understand and be able to use dozens of essential digital English words and phrases. You will know how to talk about social media naturally, how to describe what happens online with precision and confidence, and how to understand the kind of English that appears every single day on the platforms, in the headlines, and in the conversations of the digital age. We will learn through context, through stories, through emotional connection, and through real examples drawn from everyday online life. Now, one more thing before we start. It does not matter whether you are at the upper intermediate level and some of today's vocabulary is already partly familiar to you, or whether you are hearing many of these words for the very first time. This lesson was built to meet you exactly where you are. If something moves too quickly, pause the video, rewind, and listen again as many times as you need. If you already know a word we discuss, use that moment to go deeper into its family, its etymology, and its nuance. There is always more to discover in a word you think you already know. Every learner in this room, at every level, will leave today with something new. That is a promise. Before we begin, please subscribe to English in Moments and press the bell icon so you never miss a new lesson. We share a new video every single day, and each one is crafted to give you real, practical English skills you can carry into your real life immediately. Now take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let us begin our journey into the English of the digital world together. Let us start with a story, a real, ordinary story about a perfectly ordinary morning in the digital age. Listen carefully. Notice the words. Feel the situation. Let the context do its work. It was 7:30 in the morning when Maya picked up her phone. She had not even opened her eyes properly yet, but already, almost without thinking, her thumb began to move. Slowly at first, then faster. Scroll, scroll, scroll. She was scrolling through her feed, that endless river of images and words and videos that began the moment she woke up and never really stopped. A friend had posted a photo from a vacation. Someone had shared a news article. An account she followed had uploaded a new video. A brand she liked had promoted a product. All of it appearing, one after another, in a soft and seamless flow. She paused at a short video of a dog learning to catch a frisbee. She watched it twice. She liked it. She even shared it to her own profile with a short caption that said, "This made my morning." Then she kept scrolling. A few minutes later, she put the phone down and realized that 15 minutes had gone by. She had not noticed. This, she thought, is exactly how it gets you. Let us look at the vocabulary inside that story, and let us start with the very first word Maya's thumb did. Scroll. To scroll means to move through content on a screen by sliding it upward or downward with your finger or a mouse. Imagine a long piece of ancient writing rolled up on a cylinder. That is called a scroll. When you unroll it, the text moves past your eyes. Your phone feed works exactly the same way. You roll it upward with your thumb, and the content passes before you. The word is both a noun and a verb. As a verb, she scrolls every morning. As a noun, with just a quick scroll, she found the post. Say it. To scroll. Repeat that. She scrolled for 15 minutes without noticing. Your turn. I always scroll too much before bed. Now picture Maya in that moment, her thumb moving automatically, the screen flowing past her eyes like a river. That image is your memory. The next word is feed. Her feed was full of updates from friends. A feed, in the digital world, is the continuous stream of content that appears on your screen when you open a platform like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or Twitter. The word comes from the idea of feeding an animal. The platform constantly feeds you new content, one piece after another, to keep you engaged and coming back for more. Your feed is personalized. It shows you content from people you follow and from topics the platform's algorithm believes you are interested in. Say it. My feed. Repeat after me. She checked her feed first thing in the morning. Again. His feed is full of travel photography and cooking videos. Picture your own feed right now. What does it look like? What does it show you? Now you have a personal and emotional connection to the word. The next word is post. Someone had posted a photo. To post means to upload and publish content on a social media platform, making it visible to others. It can be a noun or a verb. As a verb, she posted a photo of her breakfast. As a noun, did you see her latest post? The word comes from the older meaning of posting a notice or a letter, putting something up publicly for others to see. Today, posting is one of the most common digital actions in the world. Billions of posts appear every day. Say it. To post. Repeat that. She posted a photo. Repeat after me. He wrote a long post about his experience. Your turn. I have not posted anything in weeks. Think of something you have posted recently, or something you have seen someone else post. Connect that personal moment to the word, and it will stay with you. The next word is share. She shared the video. To share means to repost or forward someone else's content from your platform to your own profile or to another person. Sharing is a form of connection and endorsement. When you share something, you are saying to your network, I saw this and I think you should see it too. The word share is, of course, much older than social media. We share food, share ideas, share experiences. But in the digital world, sharing has become one of the primary forms of communication. A post that gets shared many times is considered to have performed well. When something spreads rapidly because thousands or millions of people share it, we say it has gone viral. Say it. To share. Repeat that. She shared the video. Repeat after me. He shared her post and tagged her. Your turn. The article was shared over 1 million times in one day. Feel the connection in that word. Sharing is generosity, even in a digital form. Now the caption. She added a short caption. A caption is the text that accompanies a photo or video on social media. It is the words underneath or beside the image that give it meaning, context, humor, or emotion. A good caption can transform a simple photo into something memorable. Some people spend more time writing their caption than choosing their image, because on social media, the words you attach to a picture are often what people remember. The word comes from the Latin caput, meaning head. A caption is the heading, the title, the voice of the image. Say it. A caption. Repeat that. She wrote a funny caption for the photo. Your turn. His caption was just 3 words and a heart emoji. Think about a caption you have written or read recently. What made it effective? What made it memorable? Now let us look at one of the simplest but most physical of all our digital words. Swipe. To swipe means to move your finger quickly across a touchscreen in a single smooth motion. You swipe left or right to move between photos, to dismiss a notification, or on some apps to make a choice. You swipe up to move to the next story on Instagram or TikTok. You swipe down to refresh your feed. The word comes from an older English word meaning to strike or hit with a sweeping motion, like swiping at a fly. The physical gesture is exactly that, a quick, decisive sweep of the finger. Swiping has become so deeply embedded in digital culture that it has taken on metaphorical meaning too. You might hear someone say, "I just swipe right on anything interesting," meaning they approve it or move forward with it. Or, "She swiped left on that idea immediately," meaning she rejected it without hesitation. Say it, to swipe. Repeat that. She swiped through the photos quickly. Repeat after me. He swiped up on the story and landed on the creator's website. Your turn. I have swiped through so many profiles today that my thumb is tired. Now let us look at one of the most important and most widely misunderstood words in all of digital English, the algorithm. Maya noticed that her feed seemed to know exactly what she liked. That is not magic. That is the algorithm at work. An algorithm, in the context of social media, is the set of mathematical rules and calculations that a platform uses to decide what content to show each user, in what order, and how often. The algorithm is invisible, but it shapes almost everything you see online. It decides whether your post reaches 100 people or 1,000,000. It decides whether a small creator becomes a large one or remains unknown. It decides what news you see, what products you encounter, what ideas you are exposed to. Understanding the algorithm and understanding how to talk about it in English is one of the most practically useful things any digital age learner can do. The word algorithm is ancient Greek in origin. It comes from the name of a 9th century Persian mathematician named Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi, whose works introduced algebra and systematic methods of calculation to the Western world. His name became algorithmus in Latin, and eventually algorithm in English. So when you talk about an Instagram algorithm or a TikTok algorithm today, you are actually using a word that carries within it over 1,000 years of mathematical history. Say it, algorithm. Repeat that. The algorithm changed and her views dropped immediately. Repeat after me. Nobody fully understands how the algorithm works. Your turn. The algorithm seems to favor short-form video content at the moment. Feel the weight of that word, ancient and modern at the same time. Now let us continue Maya's story and let it take us deeper into the vocabulary of digital life. By mid-morning, Maya was at her desk with her laptop open. She had a meeting scheduled on video call, but she arrived a few minutes early and decided to check her notifications. There were 17 of them. A few likes on the photo she had posted, a comment from an old friend, 2 new followers, someone had tagged her in a post, and one account, which she did not recognize, had sent her a direct message. She glanced at the message. It looked like spam. She deleted it, blocked the account, and moved on. The meeting started. 8 faces appeared on her screen. She unmuted herself, said good morning to the group, then muted herself again while a colleague presented. Halfway through, her internet connection dropped briefly. The screen froze, then buffered, then came back. She caught the last few words of what her colleague was saying and hoped she had not missed anything important. After the meeting, she opened a new browser tab and navigated to a streaming platform. She had been meaning to watch a documentary series that everyone seemed to be talking about. She clicked play. The stream began immediately, smooth and clear. She settled into her chair with a cup of tea and let herself be absorbed. Let us move through the vocabulary of that second scene, word by word, with the same care and attention we gave to the first. Notifications. There were 17 notifications. A notification is a small alert that a platform or app sends you to let you know that something has happened. Someone has liked your post, someone has replied to your comment, someone has followed you, someone has sent you a message. The notification system is designed to bring you back to the platform. Each alert creates a small moment of curiosity or satisfaction. The word notify means to inform, to let someone know. A notification is the act of being informed. Say it. Notification. Repeat that. She had 17 notifications waiting for her. Repeat after me. I turned off my notifications because there were too many. Your turn. He checks his notifications the moment he wakes up. Picture the small red number that appears on your app icon. That number is your notifications. Likes. Several people had liked her photo. A like is a small act of digital approval. On most platforms, liking something means pressing a button, usually in the shape of a heart or a thumb pointing upward, to show that you appreciate or agree with a piece of content. The creator of the content can see how many likes their post has received, and this number often influences how the algorithm distributes the content further. Receiving a like gives a small feeling of validation and connection. Giving a like takes almost no effort and costs nothing, yet it carries real social meaning. The word like is, of course, one of the most common and ancient words in English. To like something means to find it pleasant or enjoyable. But in the social media context, it has become a currency, a measure, a signal. Say it, a like. Repeat that. Her post got hundreds of likes overnight. Repeat after me. He liked every photo she posted, going all the way back to the beginning. Your turn. I try not to measure my worth by how many likes I get, but it is hard sometimes. A comment. An old friend had left a comment. A comment is a written response that a user posts publicly beneath a piece of content. Unlike a like, which takes one tap, a comment requires thought and words. It is a more substantial form of engagement. Comments can be supportive, funny, informative, curious, or, unfortunately, sometimes unkind. The comment section of a popular post can contain hundreds or even thousands of responses, creating a whole conversation beneath a single image or video. To comment means to leave a written response. To read the comments means to read what others have written beneath a post. The comments are often where the real conversation happens. Say it. A comment. Repeat that. She left a warm comment on his photo. Repeat after me. The comments on that post were so divided. Your turn. I read the comments and immediately regretted it. Think about the last time you wrote a comment somewhere online. What made you stop and write rather than just scroll past? Followers. She had 2 new followers. On most social media platforms, to follow someone means to subscribe to their content. When you follow an account, that account's posts appear in your feed. A follower is someone who has chosen to see your content regularly. The number of followers an account has is often used as a measure of influence, reach, and credibility. A person or account with many followers is sometimes called an influencer. The word follow is beautifully simple and ancient. To follow someone means to go in their direction, to choose to walk the same path. On social media, following is a gesture of interest, of choosing to let someone's voice and images into your daily life. Say it. A follower. Repeat that. She gained 10,000 followers in 1 week after her video went viral. Repeat after me. I only follow accounts that make me feel good. Your turn. How many followers does that account have? Tagged. Someone had tagged her in a post. To tag someone on social media means to link their username directly in a post, photo, or comment so that they are notified and the content is associated with their profile. If a friend posts a group photo and tags you, your name appears in the photo and your followers might also see it. Tagging is a way of including someone in a digital conversation or moment. It draws their attention and can also expand the reach of a post. The word tag comes from an older English word meaning a small label or marker attached to something. To tag in the physical world means to attach a label. In the digital world, the label you attach is a person's name. Say it. To tag. Repeat that. She tagged him in every photo from the trip. Repeat after me. He posted the article and tagged several journalists in the comments. Your turn. I was tagged in a photo I did not even know was taken. Direct message. Someone had sent her a direct message. A direct message, often shortened to DM, is a private message sent from one user to another through a social media platform. Unlike public posts or comments, which everyone can see, a direct message is visible only to the sender and the recipient. It is the private side of social media communication. The verb to DM is now common in everyday spoken English. You might hear, "Just DM me your number," or "She DM'd him after seeing his post." Say it. A direct message. Repeat that. He sent her a direct message asking for more information. Repeat after me. I prefer to handle sensitive conversations through a direct message rather than in the comments. Your turn. She never reads her direct messages unless she already knows the person. Spam. The message looked like spam. Spam is unwanted, unsolicited, or irrelevant digital communication, usually sent in large quantities to many people at once. Spam can arrive as email, as social media messages, or as comments. It is often used to advertise products, run scams, or spread misinformation. The word spam, in this sense, came from a famous comedy sketch in which the word spam, a brand of canned meat, was repeated so many times that it drowned out all other conversation. That image of something overwhelming, unwanted, and repetitive is exactly what digital spam feels like. Say it. Spam. My inbox is full of spam. That account was sending spam to everyone it followed. I automatically delete anything that looks like spam without opening it. Blocked. She blocked the account. To block someone on social media means to prevent them from seeing your content, contacting you, or interacting with your account in any way. Blocking is an act of digital self-protection. It is a boundary. When you block someone, they disappear entirely from your digital experience. The word block in English carries a sense of something being stopped, prevented, or walled off. A blocked road cannot be traveled. A blocked account cannot be reached. Say it. To block. She blocked him immediately after the argument. If an account is sending you unwanted messages, just block it. I have never blocked anyone before, but I have been tempted many times. Muted and unmuted. She unmuted herself for the meeting, then muted herself again. To mute means to silence. When you mute yourself on a video call, your microphone is turned off and others cannot hear you. When you mute a notification or a social media account, you silence it without fully blocking it. Muting is a gentler act than blocking. You can mute someone's posts so that their content no longer appears in your feed without unfollowing or blocking them. This is often used when someone posts too frequently or when their content is making you feel anxious or unhappy, but you do not want to remove the relationship entirely. To unmute means to restore the sound or visibility. Say it. Muted. Unmuted. She muted herself for the whole presentation to avoid background noise. I muted his account during the election because the constant political posts were exhausting. She unmuted herself just in time to answer the question. Buffered. The stream buffered for a few seconds. To buffer means to temporarily pause while loading. When a video buffers, it stops playing while the platform downloads enough data to continue smoothly. The loading circle or spinning wheel that appears while you wait is the visual sign of buffering. The word comes from the idea of a buffer, something that absorbs or delays a force. In technology, a buffer is a temporary storage area where data waits before being processed. Buffering in real life has become a metaphor too. In everyday conversation, you might hear someone say, "Sorry, I was buffering," meaning they needed a moment to process information or decide what to say. Say it. To buffer. The video kept buffering because the internet connection was slow. My brain is buffering right now. Give me a second. It buffered for 30 seconds and then played perfectly. Stream. She opened a streaming platform. To stream means to watch or listen to digital content in real time or on demand without downloading it. When you stream a film, the data is sent to your device continuously as you watch, rather than being stored permanently. The word stream comes from the image of water flowing steadily and continuously in one direction. A stream of water, a stream of data, a stream of music. The analogy is beautiful and exact. Say it. To stream. She streamed the documentary on her lunch break. He streams music all day while he works. The concert was streamed live to over 2 million viewers around the world. Think about the last thing you streamed. Where were you? How did it feel to access it instantly, from anywhere, at any time? That feeling of immediate access, of content flowing to you on demand, is the experience the word stream is designed to capture. Now let us pause the story for a moment and go deeper into one of the most important and most talked about concepts in the entire digital world: going viral. When Maya shared the video of the dog catching the frisbee, she was not thinking about virality. She just thought it was cute. But sometimes something shared from an ordinary account by an ordinary person in an ordinary moment suddenly takes flight. It gets shared again and again. More people see it. More people share it. The number grows exponentially. And within hours or days, millions of people around the world have seen it. We say that content like this has gone viral. The word viral comes from the word virus. A biological virus spreads from person to person, copying itself and multiplying as it moves. Viral content spreads in exactly the same way. One person shares it. That person's followers see it. Some of them share it. Their followers see it. And the chain continues, growing faster and faster until the content has touched an enormous number of people. Going viral is one of the most powerful things that can happen to a piece of digital content. It can make an unknown person famous overnight. It can change the commercial fortunes of a small business. It can bring global attention to an important message or cause. Say it, to go viral. The video went viral within hours. She woke up to find that her post had gone viral overnight. Nobody can predict exactly what will go viral and what will not. Now let us learn the word alongside its family. Because there are several related words that all come from the same root and that you will hear constantly in digital conversations. Viral is the adjective. A viral video. A viral post. Virality is the noun. The virality of the content surprised everyone. To go viral is the verb phrase. The clip went viral on Tuesday morning. And viral spread is a noun phrase that describes the process. The viral spread of the video was tracked by researchers. Say each form with me. Viral. Virality. To go viral. Viral spread. Learning a word in all its forms is one of the fastest ways to truly own it. And now you own this one completely. Now let us continue with Maya's day and let the stories keep teaching. By the evening, Maya was on her phone again. She was browsing through the profile of someone she had recently started following. This person was a content creator, someone who made their living producing videos, photos, and written posts for their audience online. Maya admired the quality of their work. The images were carefully composed. The captions were thoughtful. The overall feeling of the profile had what people in digital culture sometimes called an aesthetic, a consistent visual style and emotional tone that made everything feel intentional and beautiful. Maya decided to follow the creator's main account and also their secondary account, which was more personal and casual. Then she noticed that the creator had a link in their bio, the short description that sits at the top of every social media profile. She clicked the link and was taken to the creator's personal website, where she could subscribe to their newsletter and access their content directly, without depending on any platform. She subscribed. She closed the browser. She put her phone face down on the table and decided to spend the next hour completely offline. Let us move through the vocabulary of this third scene. Content creator. This person was a content creator. A content creator is someone who regularly produces material for digital platforms, whether that is video, photography, writing, illustration, or audio, and who shares it with an online audience. The word content in this context is broad. It simply means any piece of material that exists to engage an audience. Articles are content. Videos are content. Podcasts are content. Even social media posts are content. A creator is someone who makes things. Combined, a content creator is someone who makes things for digital audiences. The rise of the content creator as a professional identity is one of the most significant cultural shifts of the past decade. Many content creators earn their entire living from their digital work through advertising, sponsorship, and direct audience support. Say it. Content creator. She wants to become a content creator when she finishes university. His goal is to grow his audience and eventually work full-time as a content creator. The platform makes it easy for anyone to become a content creator. Aesthetic. The profile had a beautiful aesthetic. An aesthetic is a consistent visual or artistic style that creates a unified and recognizable feeling across a collection of images, videos, or other work. Someone might describe their aesthetic as minimalist, meaning clean and simple, with lots of white space and muted colors. Or warm and vintage, meaning soft oranges and browns that feel like old photographs. Or bold and graphic, meaning strong colors and clean shapes. Having a clear aesthetic is often considered important for content creators and brands because it makes their work instantly recognizable. The word comes from the ancient Greek word aesthetikos, meaning relating to perception through the senses. In philosophy, aesthetics is the study of beauty and taste. In the digital world, your aesthetic is the visual language that tells people who you are before they read a single word. Say it. Aesthetic. Her Instagram aesthetic is all soft greens and golden light. He spent weeks developing his aesthetic before launching his account. What would you say your personal aesthetic is? Bio. She clicked the link in their bio. A bio, short for biography, is the short written description that a user places at the top of their social media profile. A bio typically includes the person's name, a description of who they are or what they do, and often a link to another platform or website. Bios on platforms like Instagram and Twitter, or X, are limited to a small number of characters, so they must be concise and carefully chosen. A good bio tells you immediately what an account is about and who it is for. Say it. A bio. Her bio says she is a travel photographer based in Tokyo. I need to update my bio. It still says something from 3 years ago. His bio is one sentence, but it tells you everything you need to know. Subscribe. She decided to subscribe to the newsletter. To subscribe means to sign up to receive regular content, updates, or messages from a creator, publication, or platform. On video platforms, subscribing to a channel means you will be notified when new videos are released. On email platforms, subscribing to a newsletter means you will receive regular emails with content. Subscribing is a deeper form of engagement than simply following on social media. It represents a more deliberate choice to let someone's work into your regular life. The word comes from the Latin subscribere, meaning to write below, the act of signing your name at the bottom of a document to show agreement or commitment. When you subscribe, you are signing your name. You are saying, yes, I choose to let this into my world. Say it. To subscribe. She subscribed to 3 newsletters and actually reads all of them. Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell. I subscribed to his podcast the day it launched. Offline. She decided to spend an hour completely offline. Offline means not connected to the internet. To go offline means to disconnect from digital networks and platforms. The opposite of offline is online, meaning connected and active on digital systems. The concept of choosing to go offline, of consciously disconnecting from the digital world for a period of time, has become increasingly important in conversations about well-being, focus, and mental health. There is even a practice called a digital detox, which means intentionally spending time completely offline in order to rest, reconnect with the physical world, and reduce the mental load of constant digital stimulation. Say it, offline. She left her phone in another room and spent the afternoon offline. Some people take a whole weekend offline every month to recharge. There is something peaceful about being completely offline, even for just an hour. Now let us look at a set of words that all relate to what happens when things go wrong online, or when boundaries need to be drawn. Because the digital world, for all its beauty and connection, also has a shadow side. And having the vocabulary to talk about that shadow side is just as important as having the vocabulary for the bright parts. Trolls and trolling. You will hear these words often in conversations about online culture. A troll is a person who makes deliberately offensive, provocative, or hurtful comments online, usually to upset other people or to cause conflict. The verb to troll means to engage in this behavior. The origin of this usage is interesting. Some people believe it comes from the image of a monstrous creature hiding under a bridge, waiting to ambush those who cross. Others believe it comes from a fishing technique called trolling, where you drag a baited line through the water to attract fish. In digital culture, a troll drags provocative words through conversations to attract emotional reactions. Say it, a troll. Trolling. She ignored the trolls in her comments and focused on the supportive ones. Trolling someone with mental health difficulties is completely unacceptable. The comment section was full of trolling, and she turned comments off. Cancel culture. This is a phrase you will encounter constantly in English language media and conversation. To cancel someone means, in digital culture, to publicly withdraw support for a person, often because they have said or done something that many people find offensive or morally wrong. Cancel culture refers to the broader social phenomenon where public figures or individuals face rapid and often severe public backlash online, sometimes resulting in significant consequences to their career or reputation. The word cancel in this context connects to the older meaning of cancellation, erasing or invalidating something. When someone is canceled online, their image, their platform, and their credibility are called into question by a large number of people, often all at once. This is a topic that generates enormous debate in English-speaking cultures, and being able to discuss it accurately and thoughtfully requires knowing this vocabulary. Say it, to cancel. Cancel culture. He was canceled after old tweets resurfaced. Cancel culture is a controversial concept with strong opinions on both sides. She was canceled, but managed to rebuild her audience over time by addressing the issue directly. Clickbait. Have you ever seen a headline online that made you think, I absolutely have to read this, only to discover that the article barely delivered what was promised? That is clickbait. Clickbait refers to content, particularly headlines and thumbnails, that is designed to attract clicks through exaggerated, misleading, or sensationalized presentation. The word bait, of course, refers to something used to lure a fish or an animal. Clickbait lures you to click. It uses curiosity, surprise, shock, or drama to make you act before you think. Say it, clickbait. That headline is pure clickbait. She refused to produce clickbait content, even when it would have grown her audience faster. I clicked on what I thought was a genuine article, and it turned out to be total clickbait. Doom scrolling. This is a newer word, but one that has entered mainstream English very quickly. Doom scrolling means the act of continuing to scroll through negative news, distressing content, or upsetting social media posts, even when you are aware that it is making you feel worse. The doom in the word refers to a sense of catastrophe or despair. When you doom scroll, you cannot seem to stop reading about bad things, even though each new item makes your mood heavier. Many people experienced significant doom scrolling during periods of global crisis, finding themselves consuming hours of distressing news without being able to look away. Say it, doom scrolling. She caught herself doom scrolling at midnight and made herself put the phone down. Doom scrolling before bed is one of the worst things you can do for your sleep quality. I recognize when I am doom scrolling now, and I try to stop before it takes over. Now, let us step back from the shadow side and return to some of the most creative and culturally rich vocabulary of digital life. Because the internet is not only a place of conflict and noise, it is also a place of extraordinary creativity, community, and language invention. Memes. If you spend any time online in English, you will encounter memes constantly. A meme is an image, video, phrase, or idea that spreads rapidly and widely through online sharing, often with humorous or satirical intent. Memes usually take a recognizable format, an image or a phrase structure, and adapt it to different contexts and topics. The word meme was actually coined by the British biologist Richard Dawkins in 1976, long before the internet existed. He used it to describe cultural ideas that spread from mind to mind the way genes spread from body to body. He took the Greek word mimeme, meaning something imitated, and shortened it to meme, to rhyme with gene. The internet gave his concept a whole new life. Say it, a meme. That meme was everywhere last week. She used a meme in her presentation and the whole room laughed. I have had the same meme sent to me by 6 different people this week. Hashtag. The hashtag is one of the most powerful and widely used organizational tools in digital culture. A hashtag is the symbol followed by a word or phrase, with no spaces, placed within a post to categorize it and make it searchable. For example, if you post a photo of a sunset and add the word travel, anyone searching that hashtag will be able to find your post alongside thousands of others on the same topic. Hashtags are used for everything from organizing social movements, such as Me Too and Black Lives Matter, to promoting products, following events, and creating community around shared interests. The symbol itself, which looks like 2 horizontal lines crossed by 2 vertical ones, is also called a hash, a pound sign, or an octothorpe, though that last name is rarely used in everyday speech. Say it, a hashtag. She added several hashtags to increase the visibility of her post. The protest gained momentum through a hashtag that people began using worldwide. Which hashtags are most popular in your area of interest? Repost and retweet. To repost means to share someone else's content to your own profile or feed, giving it a new audience. This is essentially the same as sharing, but the term repost is used specifically on some platforms and in some communities. A retweet is the specific term used on Twitter or X for reposting someone else's tweet, sharing it with your own followers. The ability to repost or retweet content is one of the primary mechanisms through which information, ideas, and viral content spread across the internet. Say it. To repost. A retweet. She reposted the announcement on her story so her followers would see it. His tweet was retweeted over 50,000 times in a single day. I try to only repost content that I have actually read and believe in. Stories. Many platforms now feature stories, which are short-form content pieces, usually photos or brief videos, that disappear after 24 hours. Stories are more casual and temporary than regular posts. They are designed to capture the small, immediate moments of daily life rather than the curated, carefully composed moments of a permanent post. Because they disappear, stories feel lower stakes. You can share something ordinary, funny, or unpolished without it becoming a permanent part of your profile. The concept was popularized by Snapchat and has since been adopted by Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, and many other platforms. Say it. Stories. She posted 3 stories this morning showing what she had for breakfast and where she was going. I always watch his stories because they give a glimpse of his real daily life. Stories feel more honest than regular posts because they are more spontaneous. Engagement. This is one of the most important words in digital culture and one of the most frequently misunderstood. Engagement refers to the total amount of interaction that a piece of content receives. Every like, comment, share, repost, save, and view contributes to the engagement of a post. High engagement means that a piece of content is resonating strongly with its audience. Low engagement means that people are seeing it but not responding to it. Platforms typically use engagement as a signal to the algorithm. Content with high engagement is often shown to more people. Content with low engagement may be shown to fewer. For content creators, building engagement is often a primary goal. The word engage, in English, means to attract and hold someone's attention, to involve them actively in something. Engagement is the measure of how much your content is doing exactly that. Say it. Engagement. Her engagement rate is much higher than accounts with more followers. He posted consistently for 6 months before seeing his engagement grow significantly. What kind of posts do you engage with the most? Now, let us take a moment and learn a beautiful set of word families from the vocabulary we have covered today. Just as we saw in our lesson on roots and prefixes, many of the words in digital English have rich families with multiple forms, and knowing those forms multiplies your vocabulary instantly. Let us start with create. The noun is creation, a social media creation. The adjective is creative, a creative post. The adverb is creatively. She presented her ideas creatively. The verb is to create. She creates content every day. And the person who creates is a creator, a content creator. Say all 5 forms with me. Create, creation, creative, creatively, creator. Now, use them in your own sentences in your mind. She created something remarkable. His creation went viral. She is one of the most creative people I follow online. Now let us do connect. The noun is connection, a digital connection. The adjective is connected. She always feels more connected after a video call. The verb is to connect. The meeting helped us connect despite the distance. The negative form is disconnected. He felt strangely disconnected after a week offline. Say them with me. Connect, connection, connected, disconnected. These are beautiful words because they carry so much more than their technical meaning. Connection, in the digital world as in the physical one, is fundamentally about human beings reaching toward each other. And disconnection, whether technical or emotional, describes the absence of that reach. Now let us look at update. As a verb, to update means to install new software or to refresh and change something to a more current version. As a noun, an update is the new version itself or a piece of new information about a situation. I installed the latest update last night. He sent a quick update to let us know the situation had changed. To keep someone updated means to inform them regularly of new developments. I will keep you updated as soon as I know more. The word comes from the prefix up, meaning to a higher or better level, and date, meaning the current time. To update is literally to bring something to the present day. Say it. Update. Updated. I need to update my phone's operating system. She updated the team on the progress of the project. Please keep me updated. Now let us talk about one of the most human and nuanced aspects of digital life, the way that language itself is changing because of technology. Because the internet has not just created new words, it has changed the way people write, communicate, and express emotion. Think about emojis. These small pictorial symbols are now embedded in everyday written communication across almost every language and culture. An emoji is a small digital image or icon used to express an emotion, an idea, or an object in text-based communication. The word comes from the Japanese, where e means picture and moji means character. Emojis originated in Japan in the late 1990s and spread globally with the rise of smartphones and messaging apps. Today, there are over 3,000 emojis in official use, covering a vast range of emotions, objects, animals, foods, activities, and symbols. A single emoji can communicate what would take a sentence to explain. A folded hands emoji can mean please, or thank you, or I am praying for you, depending on the context. A red heart means love or strong affection. A laughing face means something is funny. These small images carry enormous emotional meaning and have become a genuine form of language. Say it. Emoji. Emojis. She ended every message with a small yellow sun emoji. He used a single question mark emoji and somehow communicated exactly how confused he was. Without any emojis, the message felt cold and formal. Shorthand and abbreviations. Digital communication has also popularized a set of abbreviations and shorthand phrases that are now widely used in informal written English. LOL means laughing out loud, used to indicate that something is funny. OMG means oh my goodness, or the stronger version, oh my God, used to express shock or excitement. BTW means by the way, used to introduce an additional thought. FYI means for your information, used to share a useful fact. TBH means to be honest, used before an honest or direct observation. FOMO means fear of missing out, the anxious feeling that others are having fun or experiencing something important that you are missing. FOMO is particularly associated with social media, where you can constantly see evidence of things happening that you are not part of. Say each abbreviation with me and connect it to its meaning. LOL, OMG, BTW, FYI, TBH, FOMO. These are all widely used in spoken English now, as well as in text. You will hear them in conversations, in podcasts, in videos, and in everyday life. Now let us look at a few more essential words that appear every day in digital English conversation and that you need to know for fluency in the modern world. To go live. When a content creator or individual broadcasts a real-time video directly to their audience through a social media platform, we say they are going live or they are live. A live video is happening right now, in real time. Viewers can watch as the moment unfolds. They can comment, and the creator can respond. Going live creates a sense of presence and immediacy that edited, polished content cannot replicate. It is raw and real, and connects the audience to the person in a very direct way. Say it. To go live. She went live on Saturday afternoon to answer questions from her audience. He went live from the concert, and 10,000 people watched. I always feel nervous before going live because there are no second chances. To unfollow. To unfollow means to remove yourself from someone's follower list on a social media platform. When you unfollow an account, their content no longer appears in your feed. Unfollowing is a common and usually neutral action. You might unfollow an account because you are no longer interested in their content, because they post too frequently, or because their content no longer aligns with your interests or values. In some relationships, however, being unfollowed carries emotional weight. It can feel like a social signal. Say it. To unfollow. She unfollowed several accounts during her digital detox and felt immediately lighter. He noticed that she had unfollowed him and was not sure what to think. I regularly go through my follows and unfollow accounts that no longer inspire me. Verified. You will often see a small blue or gold tick beside a name on social media platforms. This is the verification symbol, and it indicates that the platform has confirmed that the account belongs to the person or organization it claims to represent. To be verified means to have been officially checked and approved. On large platforms, verification is often reserved for public figures, celebrities, organizations, and journalists. Being verified gives an account a certain credibility and authority. The word verify comes from the Latin veris, meaning true, and facere, meaning to make. To verify something is to make it true, to confirm its authenticity. Say it. Verified. Her account was verified last year after her documentary won an award. Only verified accounts can access certain features on this platform. He applied to be verified but was rejected because he did not meet the criteria. Trend. When a particular topic, word, phrase, or piece of content becomes the subject of intense online conversation over a short period, we say it is trending. A trend is a direction or movement that many people are following at the same time. Trending topics on platforms like Twitter or TikTok show you what the world is talking about right now, at this very moment. Trends can be positive, celebrating achievements or sharing joy. They can be neutral, discussing news or events. Or they can be divisive and heated, reflecting conflict and disagreement. The word trend comes from an old German word meaning to turn or to curve. A trend is a turning point in the collective conversation. Say it. Trending. A trend. That topic was trending worldwide for 2 days. She joined the trend by posting her own version of the challenge. Not every trend is worth joining. Influencer. We mentioned this word briefly earlier, and now let us give it the full attention it deserves. An influencer is a person who has built a large and engaged audience on social media, and who uses that audience to influence the opinions, tastes, purchasing decisions, or behaviors of their followers. The influencer model emerged in the early days of social media blogging and has since become one of the most commercially significant figures in modern marketing. Brands pay influencers to promote their products to their audiences because an endorsement from a trusted individual often feels more personal and credible than a traditional advertisement. There are macro influencers with audiences in the millions, and micro-influencers, with smaller but often more intensely engaged audiences. The word influence comes from the Latin influere, meaning to flow into. An influencer is someone whose ideas and recommendations flow into the minds of their followers. Say it. An influencer. She is one of the most trusted fitness influencers in the country. He worked with several influencers to promote the launch of the product. Not everyone who calls themselves an influencer actually has real influence. Now let us bring everything together in a longer story, one that uses as many of today's words as possible, naturally and in context. Listen carefully and see how many words you recognize. Let the context do its work. Do not stop at anything you are not certain about. Trust your instincts, as we practiced together. It started, as most things do these days, with a video. Priya was not trying to go viral. She was simply sitting at her kitchen table late on a Thursday evening, talking to her phone camera about something that had been on her mind. She was a content creator with a modest following. Her aesthetic was warm and minimal. Her content was thoughtful and careful. She talked about books, mostly, about the things she was reading and thinking and feeling. Her engagement was good, not extraordinary. Her followers were loyal. She was, by every measure, a small but genuine corner of the internet. That Thursday evening, she was talking about loneliness, about how it was possible to be constantly connected, to have hundreds of followers and dozens of notifications and an inbox full of direct messages, and still feel completely, utterly alone. She had not planned to say any of this. It simply came out. She did not edit the video. She did not add music or filters or a caption beyond 3 words. She just posted it and went to bed. By the time she woke up, everything had changed. The video had been shared and shared again and again. Someone with a large following had reposted it to their story with a single red heart. Their audience had engaged with it immediately and passionately. The comments were unlike anything Priya had ever seen. Not the usual scattered words. Real sentences. Real feelings. Hundreds of people writing things like, "I have never heard anyone say this so clearly," or "I thought I was the only one who felt this way," or "I was just scrolling mindlessly and this stopped me completely." By midday, the video was trending. It had reached people who had never followed her. Her follower count had doubled, then tripled. Her feed was full of notifications. She sat at her kitchen table again, her phone in her hand, and felt something strange and complicated. Grateful, overwhelmed, exposed, seen. She went live that afternoon to say thank you. She unmuted herself, looked at the camera, and said, simply, "I did not expect this." And then she talked for 40 minutes about loneliness and connection and the strange paradox of social media. The way it can make you feel more isolated precisely because it shows you everyone else living their lives so beautifully. The algorithm seemed to love the live session. More people arrived. More comments flowed in. The engagement was unlike anything she had tracked before. That night, she put her phone in a drawer, made a cup of tea, and sat quietly. Offline. Completely offline. And she thought about the fact that thousands of people had connected with her today because she had been honest. Not because she had been clever or polished or strategic. Because she had simply said a true thing in an unguarded moment. And the internet, for once, had recognized it. Let us look at some of the more advanced vocabulary from that story. Modest. A modest following. Modest means moderate in size, not excessively large, not small enough to be insignificant, but not large enough to be remarkable. A modest following is a reasonable, real, human-scale audience. The word comes from the Latin modestus, meaning keeping within due measure. To be modest is to remain within appropriate limits. In everyday life, we also use modest to describe a person who does not boast or exaggerate their own importance or achievements. A modest person is one who is successful, but does not make a great show of it. Say it. Modest. She had a modest but devoted audience. He spoke about his achievements in a modest and understated way. Their home was modest but beautifully kept. Utterly, completely, utterly alone. Utterly is an adverb meaning completely, totally, in every way. It is stronger and more emphatic than simply completely. Utter, the root form, means absolute, without qualification. When something is utter nonsense, it is complete and total nonsense. When someone is utterly exhausted, they are exhausted beyond any possible degree. The word has an interesting sound quality. Say it slowly, utterly. There is something emphatic and final in the sound of it. Say it, utterly. I was utterly speechless when I heard the news. The idea is utterly impractical. She felt utterly understood for the first time in a long while. Scattered. The comments were not scattered. Scattered means spread out, sparse, lacking concentration or density. If feedback is scattered, it is made up of separate, disconnected pieces without a clear pattern. The word comes from an Old Norse word meaning to disperse. To scatter seeds is to throw them out so they land in many different places. Scattered clouds are clouds spread thinly across the sky, not concentrated. In the story, Priya noticed that the comments on this video were not scattered as usual. They were dense and connected and real. Say it, scattered. There were only a few scattered comments on her usual posts. The feedback was scattered and hard to draw conclusions from. Scattered sunlight through the trees made the floor of the forest look golden. Paradox. The strange paradox of social media. A paradox is a statement or situation that seems self-contradictory or impossible, but which contains a truth. The paradox of social media and loneliness is exactly this: that a technology designed to connect people can, in some circumstances, make people feel more isolated. How can connection create isolation? But it can. It does. When you scroll through carefully curated images of other people's lives, you can feel the distance between your own reality and the polished presentation of others. That gap is where the loneliness lives. A paradox holds two truths that seem to contradict each other and asks you to sit with both of them. Say it. A paradox. Paradoxical. It is a paradox that being more connected can sometimes make us feel more alone. She found the paradox fascinating rather than troubling. The paradoxical nature of social media is one of the most discussed topics in modern psychology. Unguarded. An unguarded moment. Unguarded means without defenses, without protective barriers or careful self-presentation. When someone is unguarded, they speak or act without the careful curation and management that usually governs how they present themselves. An unguarded moment is a moment of genuine honesty and vulnerability, where the real person shows through the polished surface. In the story, Priya did not plan or edit what she said. She was unguarded. She simply spoke from the truth of her experience. And it was precisely because she was unguarded that people connected so deeply with her. The word guard comes from an old Germanic root meaning to protect or watch over. To be unguarded is to lower that protection. Say it, unguarded. In an unguarded moment, she said exactly what she felt. His unguarded reaction to the news was more honest than anything he could have planned. There is a particular beauty in unguarded speech. Now I want to give you 5 words of the week from everything we have studied today. 5 words to carry with you, to notice in the world, to use in your conversations and your captions and your thoughts. The first word is curated. When something is curated, it has been carefully and deliberately selected, organized, and presented to create a specific impression or experience. A curated feed is one where the user has carefully chosen which accounts to follow so that the content they see is consistently high quality and personally meaningful. A curated image is one that has been selected from many options as the best representation of a moment. The word comes from the Latin curare, meaning to take care of. A curator in a museum is someone who takes care of the art and decides how it should be displayed. On social media, everyone is a curator of their own life story. Say it, curated. His profile is beautifully curated. She spent time every month curating the accounts she followed to keep her feed inspiring. The carefully curated image told only part of the story. The second word is authentic. Authentic means genuine, real, true to itself, not artificial or imitated. In digital culture, authenticity has become one of the most valued and most discussed qualities. Audiences often respond more powerfully to raw, honest, imperfect content than to polished, perfectly produced content. Because authentic content carries the feeling of real human experience, of something lived rather than constructed. The word comes from the Greek authentikos, meaning original, genuine, principle. An authentic person is one who is true to their own nature and values, rather than performing a version of themselves for others' approval. Priya's video was authentic. That was its power. Say it. Authentic. Authenticity. Authentic. She built her audience on authenticity, not on perfection. Authentic storytelling connects people in ways that polished content rarely can. He was praised for his authentic response to the criticism. The third word is viral. We have already learned this word in depth today, but now let us make it truly yours. A viral piece of content is one that spreads rapidly and widely through digital sharing. But I want you to think about virality in the deeper sense that the story showed us. Priya's video went viral not because it was clever or entertaining in the usual sense. It went viral because it was honest, because it named something that many people were feeling but had not yet heard named. That is one of the truest forms of virality. When a piece of content reaches people not because of an algorithm's favor, but because it touches something real. Say it with me one final time. Viral. Virality. To go viral. Her honesty made the video viral. The virality of the post transformed her relationship with her audience. The fourth word is disconnect. To disconnect means to break a connection, whether digital or human. In the digital context, to disconnect or go offline means to step away from screens and networks. But disconnect also carries emotional meaning. You can feel disconnected from your own life when you spend too much time living it through a screen. You can disconnect from a conversation when you stop truly listening. You can disconnect from a friendship when you stop making real contact and replace it with only digital interaction. The word connect comes from the Latin connectere, meaning to tie together. To disconnect is to untie, to feel the space between. Sometimes that space is uncomfortable. Sometimes it is exactly what is needed. Say it. Disconnect. Disconnection. She felt an unexpected relief in the disconnection of a week without her phone. He was so absorbed in his screen that he had become completely disconnected from the people in the same room. There is a difference between being alone and feeling disconnected. And the fifth and final word is platform. A platform. In the digital world is any website, application, or service that enables users to create, share, and interact with content and with each other. Instagram is a platform. YouTube is a platform. TikTok is a platform. Twitter, now called X, is a platform. Spotify is a platform. Substack is a platform. Each platform has its own rules, its own culture, its own algorithm, its own aesthetic norms and community standards. Understanding the differences between platforms is part of digital literacy. The word platform comes from the image of a raised structure on which a person can stand to be seen and heard by a crowd. A political platform is a set of positions that a party stands on. A digital platform is a structure that elevates individuals and allows them to reach audiences they could never have reached before. It is, in the most literal sense, a raised floor from which to speak. Say it. Platform. Platforms. She chose to leave one platform entirely and build her audience on a different one. Each platform has its own culture and its own rules. The rise of creator platforms has fundamentally changed who gets to have a public voice. Now let us shift our focus to a world that many of you encounter every day, the professional and workplace side of digital language. Because technology has not only changed how we socialize and share, it has fundamentally changed how we work, how we communicate with colleagues, how we run meetings, how we share files, and how we organize our professional lives. And this vocabulary is just as important for English fluency as the social media vocabulary we have been building. Let us begin with a story. Marcus had worked from home for 2 years before his company introduced the hybrid model: 3 days in the office, 2 days remote. He had mixed feelings about it. The remote days were productive. He could focus. He could attend video calls in his own time without the noise of the open-plan office surrounding him. But the office days had something the remote days could not replicate: the informal conversations in the corridor, the sense of shared purpose that came from being in the same physical space as people you were working towards something with. On this particular morning, he was working remotely. He had already joined a morning stand-up, a short daily video call where the team each shared what they were working on and flagged any blockers. After that, he had spent an hour in a shared document with 2 colleagues working on a presentation deck in real time. He could see their cursors moving, their edits appearing, their comments appearing in the margin in small, colored bubbles. It felt collaborative and close despite the distance. After lunch, he got a notification from his project management app. A task he had been assigned was marked as overdue. He updated its status, left a comment for his colleague explaining the delay, and moved it to the following week. Then his screen lit up with an incoming video call. He clicked accept. His manager's face appeared on the screen. "Good afternoon," his manager said. "I just wanted to do a quick check-in." Let us move through the professional digital vocabulary from that story, one word at a time. Remote. Remote work, or working remotely, means performing your job duties from a location other than the company's physical office, typically from home. Remote work has increased enormously since the early 2020s, when many organizations adopted it out of necessity and then discovered its benefits. The word remote comes from the Latin remotus, meaning removed, distant, far away. Remote work is work done from a distance. A remote location is one that is far from other places. In everyday conversation, you might say, "She works fully remote," or "He joined the meeting remotely." Say it. Remote. Remotely. She has worked remotely for 3 years and rarely misses the commute. The team is entirely remote and spread across 4 time zones. Working remotely requires self-discipline and reliable internet. Hybrid. A hybrid model meant 3 days in the office and 2 days remote. Hybrid means combining 2 different things or systems. In the context of work, hybrid describes a model where employees divide their time between working in a physical office and working remotely. It is a middle path between fully in-office and fully remote working arrangements. The word hybrid comes from the Latin hybrida, which originally describes something of mixed origin. In biology, a hybrid plant or animal is one produced by crossbreeding 2 different species. In modern usage, hybrid describes anything that combines 2 distinct elements. Say it. Hybrid. A hybrid model. She prefers the hybrid arrangement because it gives her flexibility without losing the team connection. The company moved to a hybrid working model after the pandemic. There are genuine advantages and disadvantages to the hybrid approach. Stand-up. He joined a morning stand-up. A stand-up or stand-up meeting is a short daily team meeting where members briefly share what they are working on, what they completed yesterday, and whether they have any blockers preventing their progress. The name comes from the idea that the meeting should be short enough to complete while standing, making sitting down unnecessary. Stand-ups are common in organizations that use agile working methods, a flexible approach to project management that values frequent communication, iteration, and adaptation. Say it, a stand-up. The morning stand-up takes about 15 minutes. She presented her updates at the stand-up and asked for help with the technical problem. He finds the daily stand-up useful for staying aligned with the rest of the team. Blocker. He flagged any blockers. A blocker is anything that prevents a person or a team from making progress on their work. It might be a technical problem, a missing piece of information, a delayed decision, or a dependency on someone else who has not yet delivered what is needed. Identifying and removing blockers is one of the primary goals of a daily stand-up. The word block means to prevent movement or passage. A blocker is something that blocks. To flag a blocker means to raise it publicly and explicitly so that it can be addressed. Say it. A blocker. She flagged a blocker in the stand-up and her manager resolved it within the hour. We cannot move forward until this blocker is cleared. What are the blockers that are preventing you from finishing the project? Shared document. He worked in a shared document with colleagues. A shared document is a file that multiple people can access, edit, and comment on simultaneously through a cloud-based platform. Tools like Google Docs and Microsoft Word Online make this possible. Working in a shared document means that collaborators can see each other's changes in real time, leave comments for each other, suggest edits, and build on each other's work without needing to send multiple versions of a file back and forth by email. The experience of seeing a colleague's cursor moving on your screen, their edits appearing in real time, is one of the most tangible expressions of digital collaboration. Say it. A shared document. They worked together in a shared document for the whole afternoon. I left a comment in the shared document asking for clarification. The shared document made the collaboration much more efficient. Deck. He worked on a presentation deck. A deck is a set of slides used in a presentation, produced in software such as PowerPoint, Google Slides, or Keynote. The word comes from the older meaning of deck as a flat surface, like the deck of a ship or a deck of cards. A presentation deck is a stack of visual slides laid out flat, one after another, like a hand of cards. In professional settings, especially in business and technology, you will hear the word deck used constantly. Can you share the deck before the meeting? The deck needs another slide on the financial projections. The design of the deck was clean and effective. Say it. A deck. A presentation deck. She spent the evening designing the deck for the investor presentation. He sent the deck over by email the morning before the meeting. Can you make sure the deck is updated with this week's numbers? Check-in. His manager wanted to do a quick check-in. A check-in is an informal, brief meeting or conversation designed to see how someone is doing, to share updates, or to maintain connection. In the physical world, a check-in at a hotel is the act of arriving and registering. In the professional digital world, A check-in is a small, regular act of connection and accountability. Managers check in with team members to see how projects are progressing and how the person is feeling. Team members check in with each other to stay aligned. The phrase check-in also exists as a social media action. When you check in somewhere on a platform, you publicly share your location, letting your followers know where you are. Say it. A check-in. To check in. Her manager did a brief check-in every Friday afternoon. He checked in with her after the difficult meeting to see how she was feeling. I will check in with you again at the end of the week. Now let us look at a few more professional digital words that are essential for anyone working in an English language environment. Update. We met this word earlier in the context of software. But update is also one of the most common words in professional digital communication. In the workplace, an update is a brief piece of new information about the status of a project, a situation, or a process. To update someone means to inform them of recent developments. Can you send me an update on where we are with the project? She gave a quick update at the start of the meeting. I will keep you updated as the situation develops. Learning to give clear, concise updates in English is one of the most valuable professional communication skills you can develop. Say it. An update. To update. She sent a brief update by email. I need an update on the timeline before the client call. Keep me updated and I will do the same. Deadline. A deadline is the latest time or date by which a piece of work must be completed or submitted. The word has an interesting and slightly dramatic origin. In the 19th century, in printing, a deadline was a line marked on a printing form beyond which type could not be placed. Later, in the American Civil War, a deadline was a line drawn around a military prison, beyond which prisoners would be shot. Today, the word is used in every professional context imaginable. Submit your report by the deadline. The deadline is Friday at 5. She always meets her deadlines, even under pressure. The metaphorical weight of the word is still present. A deadline is a line that, if crossed, carries consequences. Say it. Deadline. She submitted her report 3 days before the deadline. He asked for an extension because the deadline was unrealistic. What is the deadline for the first draft? Bandwidth. This word has both a technical and a professional metaphorical meaning. In technical terms, bandwidth refers to the amount of data that can be transmitted through a network connection in a given time. High bandwidth means a fast, high-capacity connection. Low bandwidth means a slower, more limited one. But in professional conversations, bandwidth has been adopted as a metaphor for a person's capacity to take on more work or more responsibility. Do you have the bandwidth to take on this project? I do not have the bandwidth for another meeting this week. She has excellent skills, but her bandwidth is stretched to its limit right now. When someone says they do not have bandwidth, they mean they do not have the time, energy, or capacity available. Say it. Bandwidth. I do not have the bandwidth for this right now. She took on too many projects and ran out of bandwidth completely. Let me check my bandwidth before I commit to anything else. Sync. Short for synchronize. To sync means to align, update, or coordinate things so that they are consistent with each other. When your phone syncs with your computer, files and data are updated across both devices to ensure they match. In professional conversation, to sync or to get in sync means to ensure that two or more people have the same understanding of a situation or plan. Can we get in sync before the presentation? I want to make sure we are both aligned. Let me sync with the team before making any decisions. The opposite, being out of sync, means to be misaligned, to have different information, expectations, or understanding. Say it. To sync. In sync. Out of sync. Let us sync up before the call. She and her manager had fallen out of sync about the project priorities. I synced my files to the cloud this morning, and now everything is up to date. Now, let us look at a beautiful collection of phrasal verbs that are used constantly in digital and professional English. Phrasal verbs are verbs combined with prepositions or adverbs, and they are one of the most important and most challenging parts of English for learners at the upper intermediate and advanced levels. In digital English, you will encounter these constantly. To log in. To log in means to access a system or platform by entering your username and password. The noun is a login. She tried to log in but had forgotten her password. His login details were saved in his browser. I logged into the system and immediately saw the error message. To log out is the opposite. To leave or close your session. Always log out of shared computers. To sign up. To sign up means to register for a service, platform, or account, usually by providing an email address and creating a password. She signed up for the newsletter last week. How do I sign up for the free trial? You need to sign up before you can access the full content. To upload. To upload means to transfer a file or piece of content from your device to an internet server or platform. She uploaded the video to the platform, and it was available to viewers within minutes. He uploaded the presentation to the shared drive before the meeting. To download is the opposite. To transfer content from a server to your device. He downloaded the report before the flight so he could read it offline. To back up. To back up files or data means to create a copy of it stored separately, in case the original is lost or damaged. I always back up my files to an external drive. The system automatically backs up your work every 30 minutes. She lost everything when her laptop crashed because she had not backed up in months. A backup is the noun form. Do you have a backup of the original document? To crash. To crash, in the context of technology, means to stop working suddenly and unexpectedly. The computer crashed mid-meeting. The app crashed every time she tried to upload a photo. Her phone crashed 3 times this week. When a system crashes, all unsaved work may be lost. This is why backing up is so important. The word crash, of course, also describes sudden, violent collisions in the physical world. The sound and the feeling of something stopping suddenly and violently is the metaphorical core of the word in both contexts. Before we move into the closing story, let us consolidate the professional digital vocabulary we have built today with 5 words to carry into your working week. The first is remote. Remote work is one of the most significant shifts in professional life in a generation. To work remotely means to do your job from a distance, not from the office. But remote carries a deeper resonance too. Something remote is far away, separate from the center. And the challenge of remote work, as Marcus noticed in our story, is exactly that. To be close in spirit to your team while being physically far from them. Say it. Remote. She has worked remotely for 3 years. The whole team is remote. Working remotely suits some people perfectly, and leaves others feeling isolated. The second is deadline, one of the most weighted words in any professional context. A line that, if crossed, carries consequences. The deadline is not just a time, it is a commitment, a promise. Say it, deadline. She always meets her deadlines. He asked for an extension on the deadline. The deadline is Friday, and it is not moving. The third is bandwidth, used technically to describe the capacity of a network and metaphorically to describe the capacity of a person. Both meanings are about limits, about what can flow through a connection before it becomes too much. Say it, bandwidth. I do not have the bandwidth for this right now. She ran out of bandwidth completely. Let me check my bandwidth before I commit. The fourth is sync. To be in sync means to be aligned, moving in the same direction with the same information. To be out of sync means the opposite. In technology, in relationships, and in teams, sync is what makes things work. Say it, sync. Let us sync up before the call. She and her manager were out of sync. I synced everything to the cloud. And the fifth is hybrid, the middle path. Neither one thing nor the other, but both. The hybrid working model is a small example of a much larger truth, that the most flexible and resilient systems are often those that combine two approaches rather than insisting on only one. Say it, hybrid. A hybrid model. She prefers the hybrid arrangement. The company moved to a fully hybrid approach. Now say each of your 5 professional words of the week with a sentence of your own. Remote, deadline, bandwidth, sync, hybrid. Use each one to describe something from your own working life, even if it is imaginary. That sentence is how the word becomes yours. Now let us close today's lesson the way we always do, with a short story, a quiet one that brings everything we have learned today home to something true and human. It was a Sunday afternoon, and Daniel was sitting in a park. He had left his phone at home on purpose, something he had not done in a very long time. The park was busy. Families, dogs, children chasing bubbles, an old couple sitting on a bench sharing sandwiches and not saying much. A group of teenagers lying on the grass, most of them looking at their phones, one of them looking up at the sky. Daniel watched the one who was looking at the sky. He thought about his feed, about the content he had been consuming all week. The curated images of perfect vacations and minimalist apartments. The viral clips that had made him laugh but had already been forgotten. The trending topics that had felt urgent in the moment and now seemed to carry no weight at all. He thought about the hours he had spent scrolling, and he tried to calculate how much of it had actually mattered, how much of it had genuinely moved him, genuinely taught him something, genuinely connected him to another person in a real and lasting way. Not very much, he thought. Not very much at all. And then he thought about the things that had mattered. The message from his sister, sent late on a Tuesday night. Just 3 words. Are you okay? The long video call with his oldest friend in which they had talked for 2 hours and solved nothing, but felt completely understood. The post he had bookmarked from a writer he admired, not because it was viral, not because the algorithm had promoted it, but because it had said something true, about the experience of being a person in the world right now, in this particular strange and luminous and overwhelming moment. He stayed in the park for another hour, completely offline, listening to the birds and the children and the rustle of the leaves. When he finally walked home and picked up his phone, he had 17 notifications. He did not open a single one. He made dinner instead and called his sister back and talked until it was dark outside. The park, the birds, the old couple with their sandwiches, the teenager looking at the sky. These things, Daniel thought, these are the content that matters, and no algorithm will ever learn to promote them. Let us look at the final vocabulary from this closing story. Luminous. This particular strange and luminous moment. Luminous means bright, glowing, full of light. It can describe something physical, a luminous moon, a luminous screen, but it can also describe something more abstract. A luminous idea is one that shines with clarity. A luminous person is one who radiates warmth and intelligence. A luminous moment is one that glows with a particular quality of beauty or significance. The word comes from the Latin lumen, meaning light. Light is one of the most ancient and universal symbols of clarity, hope, and truth. Say it. Luminous. The evening sky was luminous even after the sun had set. She had a luminous quality that made everyone in the room feel warmer. This moment, ordinary as it seems, is luminous if you pay attention. Overwhelming. This particular strange and luminous and overwhelming moment. Overwhelming means so large, intense, or powerful that it is difficult to manage or comprehend. When something overwhelms you, it comes in such quantity or force that your ability to cope is exceeded. The digital world is, for many people, overwhelming. Too much information, too much stimulation, too many demands on attention. The word comes from the Middle English whelmen, meaning to capsize or turn completely upside down. The prefix over adds the sense of something coming from above, pressing down. To be overwhelmed is to be capsized, turned over and buried beneath something too large to escape from. Say it. Overwhelming. Overwhelmed. The volume of notifications was overwhelming. She felt overwhelmed after 3 days of constant screen time and needed to rest. There is something overwhelming about the beauty of the world when you actually stop and look at it. Bookmarked. He had bookmarked a post from a writer he admired. To bookmark something online means to save it so you can return to it later. Most browsers and social media platforms allow you to bookmark or save content. A bookmark in the physical world is a small strip of material placed in a book to mark the page where you stopped reading. The digital version does exactly the same thing. It marks a place you want to return to. Say it. Bookmarked. She bookmarked the article to read properly when she had more time. I have bookmarked so many things I have never gone back to read. He bookmarked the post because he knew it would still be true next week. Rustle. The rustle of the leaves. A rustle is a soft, dry, whispering sound made by something light moving against something else. Leaves in the wind rustle. Paper rustles when you turn a page. A person in a heavy coat might rustle as they walk. It is one of the most peaceful, natural sounds, and it is precisely the kind of sound that a screen cannot reproduce. The word rustle has an onomatopoeic quality. Say it slowly. Rustle. Can you almost hear the leaves? Say it again. Rustle. There it is. Now connect it to the image. the park, the afternoon, Daniel sitting without his phone, the rustle of the leaves above him. That is the word living inside the moment. Say it one final time. Rustle. Say each of today's 5 words of the week one final time with me. Curated, authentic, viral, disconnect, platform. These are your words for the week ahead. Notice them. Use them. Write them in your notebook with a sentence that is yours, drawn from your own experience of the digital world. Because the best way to own a word is to give it your own story. And you have a digital story. Everyone living in this age does. It is full of scrolls and feeds and notifications and moments of genuine connection and moments of isolation. And moments when something true appeared on your screen and made you stop. That story is yours. And now you have more of the language to tell it. Before we close today, I want to leave you with one final thought. The digital world is not going away. It is the world we live in. And learning to speak about it clearly, accurately, and thoughtfully in English is one of the most practical and relevant skills any learner can develop. But beyond practicality, today's lesson has been about something deeper too. About the way language can help us understand our own experience. About the way words like disconnect and authentic and curated and overwhelmed do not just describe our digital lives, they describe our human lives. The experience of being too busy to rest, the desire to be seen as we truly are rather than as we have been edited, the exhaustion of too much stimulation, the deep relief of genuine connection. These are not digital problems. They are human problems. And having the English to name them gives you power. The power to understand your own experience more clearly. The power to communicate it to others. The power to notice the difference between a curated version of life and the luminous, overwhelming, completely irreplaceable reality of it. Thank you for being here today. It has been a genuine pleasure to learn and to think and to notice together. Please subscribe to English in Moments if you have not already, and come back tomorrow because there is always more to discover. Keep reading, keep listening, keep noticing the words around you, and keep going. I will see you in the next lesson. Take care of yourself. And remember, the most important platform you will ever have is the one inside your own mind. Keep building it, one word at a time. And before you go, say these 5 sentences out loud, one for each of your 5 words of the week. Let your voice carry them. Let them begin to feel like yours. My feed is more curated now, and I notice the difference in how it makes me feel. True stories are almost always more authentic than perfectly produced ones. I never expected that video to go viral, but sometimes the most honest things travel the farthest. Every now and then, I disconnect completely, and the world feels simpler and quieter and more real. The most valuable platform is not the one with the most users. It is the one where the conversation is most honest. Say each sentence again, slowly, clearly, with feeling, and carry these words into your week. You have done something real today. something that goes beyond memorizing a list or studying a grammar rule. You sat with 4 stories. You followed 4 different people through 4 different moments of their digital lives. And through their stories, you met the language of the world you already live in. The language of scrolling and sharing and going viral and disconnecting and logging in and running out of bandwidth and watching a video buffer and feeling, for just a moment, completely overwhelmed. This language is yours now, not because you studied it, because you felt it, in context, inside real human moments. And that is the only way any word truly sticks. Take these words with you. Scroll through your feed today and notice the vocabulary. Post something and feel the weight of that word. Check your notifications and hear the Latin root, notify, to inform, underneath it. Go offline for an hour and feel what disconnect means in your body, not just your mind. Sync up with someone you care about, and remember that to be in sync with another person is one of the quiet miracles of human connection. The digital world will keep changing. New words will appear. New platforms will rise. New vocabulary will emerge, and old vocabulary will shift its meaning. But the skills you practice today, reading context, feeling etymology, connecting words to human experience, will serve you in every new version of this language as it evolves. Because those skills are not about memorizing what is current. They are about understanding how language itself works. And that understanding never goes out of date. Thank you for being here. I will see you in the next lesson. Take care of yourself. And remember, every word you learn is a window. Keep opening them.